All right, today we're in lesson 9.4, the percent equation, page 432 in your books. You will need your books for example 4, so go ahead and turn to page 432. All right, now, the other day we learned how to solve percent problems using the percent proportion. What is the percent proportion? A over B equals P over 100. Well, remember when we learned how to solve proportions? How many different ways were there to solve proportions? Three different ways, and you can use any of those methods and you still get the right answer. Well, this is basically that same concept. You're going to see percent problems today that you've seen before, and guess what? You could use the percent proportion and get the right answer. But I'm going to teach you another way today to solve those problems, and that's by using the percent equation. So you must use the percent equation on your homework tonight. On the quiz, on the section that I ask you to use percent equation, you need to use it, okay, in order to get full credit. So what is the percent equation? Well, it's A equals P percent times B. You need to write this on the top of your notes. So guess what your original problem is going to be on your homework tonight? This equation, okay? You don't need to rewrite the statement. You just need to write the original equation and then substitute your numbers. All right, so how does this look in an example? In example 1, we're finding part of the base. So, what are we solving for? It says, what number is 20% of 110? What are we solving for, A, B, or P? A. We're solving for A because we know that our key word for A is what? Is, and our key word for B is of. That's what helps us figure out which values to substitute in for which variables. All right, so we start off with our original, A equals P percent times B. Then I want you to view P percent as any other variable, okay? P stands for percentage. Do you agree? Yes. Okay, so technically you could just say P, but the percent sign is just reminding you that it is a percentage. Now we're going to plug in the numbers where they go in the formula. So what number goes in for P? 20%. What number goes in for B? 110. And the rule that you need to remember is before I can multiply any number by a percentage, I must first change my percent to a decimal. So 20% as a decimal would be what?
2.2.
0.2. Very good. We can just do that mental math. Does everybody agree we could do that mental math? All right. So here's what I want to agree on. All right. I am okay with you skipping this step right here, as long as you understand that any time I substitute in a percent value into my percent equation, I always have to change it to a decimal first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we can skip straight down to here. Just know you're changing your percent to a decimal before you can multiply. Now what is 0.2 times 110? A equals what? 22. Okay, I want you to try the second one on your own. All right, so what do you write first? A equals P percent times B. All right, what'd you plug in for P?
29%.
Okay, but did you change it to a decimal?
0.29.
A equals 0.29. We just automatically change it to a decimal times 88. Then when I multiplied it, A equals what?
25
and 52 hundredths.
Yes.
All right, who got it? Who got it? Awesome. All right, last but not least, A equals P percent times B. What do you plug in for percent?
0.15.
Very good. A equals 0.15 times 200. And A equals what?
30.
A equals 30.
Yay!
Remember, no work, no credit. So you have to show me your work. Otherwise, I don't know that you used the percent equation. In example 2, we're solving for a different part of the same equation. So now we're solving for percent. We still start off with our original formula. A equals P percent times B. Okay, now do I know the A value? What? Whoa, whoa.
Wait.
Yes, I do. 50 is my keyword for A, so I know 50 is my value for A. I don't know my percentage, and I know that my total, or my B, is 250. Now, one thing that I like to do, especially when I'm solving for P, is I like to simplify this variable a little bit more. We can all assume that we know that P stands for percent, right? Right? Now, what's a better way to write a number multiplied by a variable? What's the way that I taught you? I always write the number first before the variable. So here's how I want you to write it whenever you're solving these percent problems and you're solving for percent. You're going to write it 50 equals 250p. With the understanding that P equals the percentage, so we're just going to kind of drop off that percent sign to make it look a little bit nicer to solve. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
P still stands for percent. We haven't changed what we're solving for. All right, and now it's pretty obvious. How do we solve for P? We need to divide by what?
50.
Not 50. We divide by whatever number is connected to the variable. So 250 both sides. You say, well, that looks weird. That's okay. We still follow the steps, whatever number is connected to our variable. And then make sure you put it in your calculator correctly. 50 divided by 250 gives me what decimal value?
0.2.
0.2. But is that a percentage? No. What is 0.2 as a percentage? 20%, because I move my decimal to the right 2 places, and 20% is going to be my answer. All right, so now I want you to try the second one on your own. All right, so what's your value again?
36.
Yes, so we plug in 36 equals 75p. Do you have that?
Yes, ma'am.
Then what do you divide both sides by?
75.
And I want you to show that using the fraction bar. Don't do the little division symbol. Don't get creative with it. Just show it as a fraction. And then P equals what? Okay, it's going to be 0.48, but is that my percentage? Nope, it's going to be 48%. Okay, raise your hand if you got 48%. Did you get 48%? Okay. All right, go ahead and solve the third one now. What percent of 300 is 51? All right, what do I plug in for A? What? 51 equals what? 300p. What do I divide both sides by? 300. Very good. And what does P equal?
0.17.
Which is what?
17%.
P equals 17%. I'm okay if you just write 17% and you don't even write the decimal number, because I know if you wrote 17% that you just mentally changed that decimal to a percent. The percentage is the answer I'm looking for. Now, if you said P equals 0.17 in your answer, you're going to get half credit. You're not going to get full credit for that, because on your quiz you get no credit. But on your test you would get half credit, because that's not a percentage in your answer. Make sure your answer is a percentage. Okay, so now example 3, what are we solving for now? We're solving for B. Okay, so we still start with A equals P percent times B. What's our A value on the first one? What's our A value, guys?
130.
130. What's our P value?
65%.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's our P value that we plug in?
0.65.
Very good. The decimal equivalent of 65%. And then do I know B?
No, ma'am.
No. And so now how would I solve for B? Divide by what? 65 hundredths. Very good. Divide both sides. And B equals what? Sorry.
It's 200.
200. All right, I want you to do the second one. 8 is 32% of what number? Okay, so A equals P percent times B. What's my A? Okay, my A is 8. What's my P? 0.32. Plug in the decimal equivalent. B, what do I divide both sides by?
0.32.
Very good. 0.32 both sides. And B equals
256%.
B equals 25. 25. Okay? All right. So that's it for example 3. Now I want to look at example 4 together. Okay, in example 4, we're finding a commission. Okay, so we're still going to use our percent equation as our basis for solving. And our percent equation is A equals P% times B. Okay, now let's read the problem and try to figure out which values are substituted for which variable. It says a shoe salesperson sells a pair of shoes for $125. The salesperson receives a 9% commission on the sale. How much is the commission? All right, so let's start with the easy part. Do I know my percentage?
Yes.
Yes, it's 9%, but what value would I plug into my equation? 0.09, right? Because I'm going to plug in the decimal equivalent of that percent. So I have 0.09. Now we need to decide this value, $125. Is that going to be my A value or my B value, and why? $125.
That'll be your B value because it says oh.
Well, okay, we're not necessarily looking for our keyword here. In a word problem, the keyword isn't necessarily going to apply. Here's what we have to think about. Our B value is our total, okay? That's our of, but it's our total, it's our whole. Our A value is our part. So is $125 the whole amount that was spent, or is it only the part? It's the whole. We paid $125 for the shoes. So it's going to be the B value. Okay? All right. So times 125. Now, a commission is going to be a part of what the total sale was. So that's what I'm solving for, which is A. Do you see how we figured out, which goes where? Our B value is our whole or our total, and our A value is our part. So we just have to figure out which one the word problem is giving us. Now it's as simple as just putting in our calculator. 0.09 times 125 gives me the amount of the commission.
11.25.
In dollar form.
$11.
$11.25. Okay? And that would be it for 9.4.